I had pain every single day of my life, and it really started when I was 14 years old.
The Owen family has been a symbol of hope, love, and strength for decades. They have shared their passion for wildlife and their unshakable bond with the world. But behind the scenes, a heartbreaking chapter has unfolded, one that no one saw coming. Terry Owen, the strong and devoted mother who has carried on Steve Irwin's legacy with unwavering courage, has been brought to tears by a tragic transformation in her son. What seemed like a bright future has taken a sudden and painful turn, leaving the family struggling to understand and cope. It's a story of unexpected change, of dreams interrupted, and of a mother's heartbreak as she watches someone she loves more than anything face a challenge she never imagined. After Steve Irwin's passing, it's hard to imagine the world without Steve, the crocodile hunter, whose larger-than-life personality and infectious enthusiasm for wildlife made him a household name. But in 2006, tragedy struck when Steve was killed in a freak accident involving a stingray. The loss devastated millions around the globe, but for his wife, Terry Irwin, it was more than just the loss of a husband. It was the loss of a partner, a best friend, and the father of her 2 children. Terry has often spoken about the immediate aftermath of Steve's death, describing it as a time when she felt utterly lost. "Steve wasn't just my husband. He was my soulmate," she said in an emotional interview years later. The two had built not just a family, but a life and legacy centered on their shared passion for wildlife conservation. Suddenly, Terry was faced with the unimaginable task of carrying on that legacy alone. What Terry did next was nothing short of extraordinary. Rather than letting the weight of grief paralyze her, Terry made a decision that would change everything. She vowed to continue Steve's work to ensure his mission to protect wildlife lived on. "I had to do it for Steve, for our kids, and for the animals," she explained, adding that was the only way forward. Terry threw herself into running the Australia Zoo, the Irwin family's pride and joy. It wasn't easy. The zoo had always been a shared dream, and without Steve, every corner of the park was a reminder of what she'd lost. But Terry saw the zoo as more than just a place for visitors to see animals. It was a platform for conservation, education, and a living testament to Steve's vision. Under her leadership, the Australia Zoo expanded its efforts in wildlife rescue and conservation. Terry worked tirelessly to grow their programs, including the Wildlife Hospital, which has treated tens of thousands of injured animals over the years. She also spearheaded projects like creating wildlife corridors and preserving endangered species. Yet even as Terry took on these monumental tasks, her role as a mother became more important than ever. After Steve's passing, Terry's focus shifted to her children, Bindi and Robert. She knew they were grieving too, and she wanted to make sure they felt supported. "Steve and I always talked about raising kids who were passionate about wildlife," Terry shared. "I knew I had to keep that dream alive for them." Terry encouraged Bindi and Robert to stay connected to their father's legacy. Bindi, then just 8 years old, gave a tear-jerking speech at Steve's memorial service where she called him her hero. Robert, only 2 at the time, would later grow into a spitting image of his father, both in appearance and passion. Terry has often spoken about the emotional moments when she has seen Steve's spirit in her children. "There are times when Robert will do something, whether it's the way he talks about an animal or the way he smiles, and it's like Steve is right there in the room," she said, holding back tears. While these moments brought tears to her eyes, they also brought something else: hope. One of the most emotional milestones for Terry came in 2008 when Bindi won an Emmy for her television series, Bindi the Jungle Girl. Watching her daughter carry on the Irwin name and inspire millions of young viewers was a proud moment for Terry. She later described it as a full-circle moment, seeing how Bindi's love for wildlife had blossomed despite the challenges their family faced. Similarly, Robert's rise as a world-renowned wildlife photographer has been a source of immense pride for Terry. His stunning images of animals and their natural habitats have won international awards and raised awareness about conservation issues. To see Robert take on such a pivotal role in continuing Steve's work, when I see him with a crocodile or snapping photos of wildlife, it's like looking at a younger version of Steve, she said. "It's bittersweet, but mostly it's beautiful." Perhaps the most touching moments of all are the ones Terry shares with the public, where her raw emotions remind us just how deeply she loved and still loves Steve. Over the years, Terry has given countless interviews and speeches about her family's journey. Some of her most memorable moments have been when she opened up about the personal struggles she faced after Steve's death. In one particularly moving speech during a conservation event, Terry spoke about how she found the strength to keep going. "There were days when I didn't think I could do it," she admitted. "But then I'd look at my kids and I'd remember what Steve used to say. If you're doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I realized that this work wasn't a burden. It was a gift." Fans and supporters have often praised her for her authenticity and vulnerability. Her ability to share her grief and resilience has inspired countless others who have faced loss. Today, Terry Irwin stands as a symbol of strength and determination. She has not only preserved Steve's legacy, but expanded it in ways that even he might not have imagined. From global conservation efforts to supporting her children in their own remarkable journeys, Terry has proven time and time again that love and passion can overcome even the greatest tragedies. Through every tear, every challenge, and every triumph, Terry has shown us that the Irwin legacy is more than just one man. It's a family united by a shared dream to make the world a better place. Robert Irwin's transformation over the years has been extraordinary. Growing up as the son of the legendary Steve Irwin, Robert has lived a life like no other. From his earliest years, he's been surrounded by the wild beauty of nature, the roar of animals, and the love of a family dedicated to conservation. His journey has been nothing short of remarkable, a transformation that has captivated the world. Born on December 3rd, Robert was introduced to the wonders of wildlife early on. One of the early signs of Robert's passion for wild animals came when he would eagerly ask questions about his father's work, often marveling at how his father was a living, breathing wildlife legend. While many kids grow up with imaginary friends, Robert grew up with crocodiles and other wild companions. By the age of 5, Robert had already started to work alongside his sister, learning from their father how to handle animals and showing his own boundless understanding of wildlife. His father's lessons in conservation and animal care became the foundation for Robert's own path. As Robert grew older, his passion and charisma began to shine in ways that captivated audiences everywhere. By the time he was a teenager, he wasn't just Steve Irwin's son. He was a public figure in his own right, adored by fans for his authenticity and heartfelt love for animals. Can you imagine facing a live audience of millions before you're even old enough to drive? One of Robert's breakout moments came on The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. His appearances on the show quickly became iconic. Armed with an array of exotic animals from sloths to snakes, Robert's confidence, humor, and deep knowledge stole the hearts of viewers. His charming ability to balance education and entertainment was a clear nod to his father's legacy. But his delivery was entirely his own. These appearances weren't just about showcasing cute animals. They were about raising awareness. Whether he was talking about conservation efforts, endangered species, or the importance of protecting the natural world, Robert's message was always clear. The fight for wildlife and the environment is one worth dedicating your life to. His message resonated with audiences of all ages, and his charisma wasn't something that could be faked. It was a genuine reflection of his passion. Outside of talk shows, Robert began starring in documentaries and wildlife specials. His natural ease in front of the camera, combined with his ability to connect with people, made him a beloved figure in the world of conservation media. Robert's journey from a curious child to an accomplished conservationist has been filled with milestones that have left an indelible mark on his career. One of his most celebrated achievements has been his success as a wildlife photographer. Did you know that Robert Irwin's photographs have been showcased in galleries around the world? Calling over the years, Robert has won multiple prestigious awards for his stunning wildlife photography. His images often tell stories of endangered species and the delicate ecosystems they inhabit, bringing attention to the urgent need for conservation. In 2020, one of his photographs, a dramatic shot of a bush-ravaged forest, was awarded in the Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition. The photo was not only breathtaking, but also deeply poignant, symbolizing the devastating impact of climate change. This moment was a defining one for Robert, proving that his work could inspire action and awareness on a global scale. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but Robert's photos are worth 1,000 calls to action. But Robert's contributions don't end with photography. At the Australia Zoo, he has taken on a hands-on role in managing daily operations and leading conservation projects. From rescuing injured animals to breeding programs for endangered species, Robert is involved in every aspect of the zoo's mission. One of his standout initiatives has been the Crocodile Research Program, which tracks the movements and behaviors of wild crocodiles. This research is vital for understanding how to coexist with these magnificent reptiles and protect their habitats. In addition to his work at the zoo, Robert has delivered powerful speeches at global conservation conferences, often speaking about the need for youth involvement in environmental care. His mother, Terry, raised him at the Australia Zoo, a place that was more than just a home. It was a living, breathing wildlife sanctuary. Imagine growing up with crocodiles as your backyard companions. As a young boy, Robert didn't just observe animals from a distance. He was hands-on, learning from his dad how to handle reptiles and kangaroos and understand the delicate balance of nature. These weren't just lessons in animal care. They were lessons in respect, compassion, and stewardship. His ability to articulate complex issues in a way that's relatable and inspiring has made him a sought-after voice in the conservation community. Robert Irwin's transformation over the years is more than just a personal journey. It's a continuation of a legacy that began with his father and now flourishes through his own unique contributions. His passion, talent, and determination have made him a beacon of hope for wildlife conservation. It's not just about following in his father's footsteps. It's about leaving footprints of his own. From the little boy who fearlessly handled snakes to the award-winning photographer and conservationist he is today, Robert Irwin's story is a testament to what can be achieved when you pursue your passion with heart and purpose. Through it all, his mother Terry has stood proudly by his side, often moved to tears by the incredible young man her son has become. The world continues to watch as Robert's journey, always the son of the crocodile hunter, is far from over. He grew up under the watchful eye of his parents on the front lines of conservation. Instead of just being part of the generation his parents helped inspire, his own legacy is growing. In photography in particular, there's no doubt he'd be recognized internationally for his breathtaking wildlife images, including using the iconic photo of a bush-ravaged forest in Australia. His ability to tell stories of resilience in nature has become a source of pride for his family. In interviews, Terry often reflects on how proud she is of Robert's ability to connect with the world through his art. "It's like he's channeling Steve," she once said, her voice trembling with emotion. Robert's passion for capturing the beauty of the animal kingdom isn't just about taking pictures. It's about inspiring action to protect these creatures. For Terry, seeing her son step into a role that combines creativity with conservation feels like watching her late husband's legacy come alive in a new and powerful way. One of the most talked about aspects of Robert's transformation has been his uncanny resemblance to Steve, not just in looks, but in his mannerisms and undeniable passion for wildlife. Fans often comment on how Robert's infectious enthusiasm, wide-eyed wonder, and fearless approach to animals remind them of Steve. For Terry, these moments are bittersweet. During a segment on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Robert brought out some of his favorite animals, just as his dad had done so many times before. Watching him confidently handle a massive snake while educating the audience about its importance brought her back to those moments with Steve. Terry admitted later that she couldn't hold back her tears. "It was like Steve was standing there again," she said, "but it was also uniquely Robert. He's not just carrying Steve's torch. He's making his own path, own fire." For any parent, watching their child grow up is an emotional experience. But for Terry, seeing Robert transition from a curious boy to a conservationist making waves worldwide has been particularly poignant. In one heartfelt moment captured during a family documentary, Terry recalled how Robert, at just 2 years old, would follow Steve around the Australia Zoo, mimicking his every move. "He's always been a little Steve," she said with a nostalgic smile. But what amazes me is how he's taken that influence and turned it into something so distinctly his own. Robert's growth has also been evident in the way he interacts with the public. As a teenager, he was often shy and reserved. Today, he speaks passionately at international conferences advocating for wildlife preservation. In a candid interview, Terry revealed that seeing Robert on these stages often brings her to tears. "I know how proud Steve would be," she shared, "and that makes me even prouder." The Owen family has been featured in countless media appearances, documentaries, and interviews over the years, many showcasing Terry's pride in her children. One particularly moving segment aired during an anniversary tribute to Steve Irwin's life. As clips of Robert working with crocodiles and traveling to protect endangered species played on the screen, Terry was visibly emotional. "It's not just about the work he's doing," she explained. "It's about the heart he puts into it. Steve would have loved that." Terry has also spoken about how much it means to her that Robert is not alone on this journey, with his sister Bindi by his side. The two siblings have become a formidable team, supporting each other through the challenges and triumphs of life in the public eye. For Terry, knowing that her children are united in their mission is a source of immense comfort and joy. The Owen family's legacy is one of the most enduring and impactful. What started as Steve Irwin's singular vision to connect people with wildlife has grown into a global movement for conservation, education, and change. Terry, Robert, and Bindi have worked tirelessly to ensure that this legacy not only survives but thrives. For Terry, one of the most beautiful aspects of her family's journey is the way her children have taken up Steve's mission. Robert, with his adventurous spirit and artistic talents, and Bindi, with her leadership at the Australia Zoo and heartfelt advocacy, have become the face of a new generation of Irwins. Together, they are not just carrying on Steve's work, they're expanding it. One of the family's most ambitious projects in recent years has been their work on wildlife rescue and rehabilitation during Australia's devastating bushfires. While the world watched in horror as flames consumed vast areas of the country, the Owen family sprang into action, rescuing over 990,000 animals and providing care at their wildlife hospital. For Terry, this was a moment of profound pride. Seeing her children lead such a massive effort reminded her of why Steve started this journey in the first place. The Owen family's influence extends far beyond Australia. Robert, in particular, has taken on a more global role, traveling to advocate for endangered species and speaking at international forums. His work has inspired countless young people to care about wildlife, and Terry often mentions how rewarding it is to see her son making such a difference on a worldwide scale. "It's not just about what he does," she said in a recent interview. "It's about the hope he brings to others." A symbol of resilience and hope, the Irwin family story is one of resilience. They've faced unimaginable loss, constant scrutiny, and the pressures of living up to a beloved legacy. But through it all, they've remained united. Terry often credits this unity to the strong foundation Steve built, but it's clear that her own strength and dedication have played a crucial role. For Terry, watching her family thrive is its own reward. "We've been through so much," she once said, "but what keeps us going is the love. Love we have for each other, for the animals, and for the planet. It's this love that has made all the difference."